Welcome Tamers. In tonight's video I'll be doing an unboxing and review of the new ST-19 Fable Waltz. And here's the box. We'll be going over the cards that are in the set, including the Shoemon, the Centralmon, which is the boss monster of the deck, and then Arisa being the tamer. After that I'll be showcasing what other things you get in the deck, so let's get to it. Alright Tamers, here we go with the unboxing of the Fable Waltz Starter 19. Let's see, hopefully we don't rip this. Cool, finally got it out. So in the back you get a playmat of the starter deck. So this one is the Shoemon with the Centralmon. Let's see if we could open this up. So this is what it looks like. You get the Shoemon and the Central. You get your memory counter, right? And also in the back shows you how to play the game, which is really cool. A lot of people are starting to get back into the game, so having this as a way for you to teach you how to play, it's nice, right? Let's put this back to how it was, and then we'll start with the actual unboxing. Let's take this off, and then to start we have 4 copies of the Kiaromon, which is the egg that the deck uses, right? When attacking once per turn, if you have another Digimon, draw 1. I think this one's gonna be like a really good yellow egg, just because most of the time you always have like a second stack or a second Digimon on the field. So as long as you have something else on the field, you get to draw 1. So if I will probably start using this one in any deck that I make that's yellow, that spits out bodies, just because you're always going to have that extra Digimon on the side. A lot of the other yellow decks run the Tokomons and DP minus, but getting draw in those decks is crucial, so having this as a draw is nice. Next we're going into the rookies. We have 4 copies of Junkmon. This one's a 3-cost 1k. It has decoy for puppets, so when one of your effects would delete when one of your opponent's effects would delete any of your Digimon with the puppet trait, by deleting this Digimon, one of those Digimon isn't deleted. And then inheritance barrier, so when this Digimon will be deleted in battle by charging the top card security, it isn't deleted. So this one, the fact that you could play him out, and then if something would be deleted that had the puppet trait, you could choose to delete this instead, so that Digimon doesn't get deleted. And then when you're checking security, if you hit into something that's smaller bigger than you, you can choose to trash your security to prevent that deletion. So I think this was a really good generic level 3 that you could run in like puppet decks or token decks that are yellow. So this one you do get 4 copies. Next we have the 2 copies of Shoemon. Like with all Bandai products, for most starter decks, they only give you 2 rares, and then super rares as well. So you would need to buy 2 separate starter decks for you to get the full playset that you need. But this one is 2 copies of the Shoemon from the starter deck. It's a 3-cost 1k. On play, it's your searcher, so reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with the puppet trait and 1 card with the Liberator trait among them to the hand, return the rest of the bottom of the deck, and then your turn, all your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3k. This is a good way for you to check security with like not having a lot of DP, and then still be able to survive. Minus 3k is a pretty big boost into the DP minusing, right? So this one you do get 2 copies here. Next we have 4 copies of the Pawn Chessmon, the yellow black. It's a 3-cost 2k. Evo's over 1 on top of a level black or yellow level 2. And then on play, it's a by trashing 1 card with the puppet trait in your hand, draw 2. So it's a trash 1, draw 2. It's always nice to cycle, right? You want to have some cards in trash, maybe it's a dead card in hand. You pitch that card out and then you draw 2. And then inherit is reboot So this giving your stack reboot is nice, that way in case you have blocker, right? Giving it to unsuspend or your opponent's unsuspend phase is good. So this one you do get your 4 copies. Next is the other version of the Pawn Chessmon. This one is a black-yellow Pawn Chessmon. Same stats, 3 costs 2k, but this one is a blocker instead. And then it's on deletion, the same effect where you would trash 1, draw 2. The other one is on play, this one is when it dies. So you have good uses, right? But this one unfortunately doesn't have an inherit, so this is one thing to watch out for. But the fact that it's a blocker and then you could do the effect on deletion is nice. So you could maybe play this one out off an effect, have a blocker on the field, he dies, trash 1, draw 2, right? So this one you get 4 copies. Next we're going into the level 4s. I like the whole puppet vibe of this deck. You do get 4 copies of Digimon. Digimon is a 4 cost 4k puppet Digimon. It's an on play, on deletion, give one of your opponent's Digimon secret attack -1. No inherent, so you being able to give something secret attack -1 is good. But I don't know if it's great, right? Most of the time you rather either want a DP minus or play out a blocker. But if you know your opponent's trying to go for game, by you playing that for 4, giving them secret attack -1 prevents them from doing anything, right? Unless they get a security modifier. Next we have 4 copies of the Tobu Catmon, which is a weird name for a cat. These are sometimes together, the foiling sticks, right? So together, no. Right, so the Tobu Catmon is 5 cost 5k, evils for 2 on top of a level 3 that's yellow, and it has jamming. So this one being jamming is good. You do those early aggressions where you just even the back, then you promote digivolve for this for 2, right? Swing, jamming, cool, survives, you don't really have to do anything, and then you just keep doing your play. You do get 4 copies of this one, and then inherit is barrier, right? Next we have the 2 copies of Shoemon, which is a rare, right? This one's a 6 cost 5k, evils for 2 on top of level 3 that's yellow. Then security attack, you may play 1 card with deliberate trait and a play cost 4 or less from your hand or trash without paying the cost. And then it has overclock, which is the new keyword for the set. That's what it looks like. It's pretty cool. Little rollerblades and everything. Overclock for puppet traits is at the end of your turn by deleting one of your token or other puppet trait Digimon. This Digimon may attack a player without suspending, so it has that Arrestor Dramon superior mode effect where like you could be keep blocker but still do your checks without suspending by popping something on your side. And then your turn inherit is all your opponent's security get -3k, so if you add this one with the Shoemon, you're doing -6k to the security, so that's a lot. The fact that if they check this in security, you get to play out a card with a Liberator trait from your hand or trash is good. So if something was trashed by an effect, like you trash them with barrier, cool, my Tamers into trash, they hit this in security. All right, play out the Tamer. All right, so this one you get 2 copies. Next we have Pandamon. Pretty cool. The Pandamon is a 6 cost 7k level 5. It's a blocker, evils for 3 on top of a level 4. It would have been cool if this was a rule trait that it was Monzimon, right? Because it's all 3 of them in the photo. So it being treated as a Monzimon would have been great. You could steal this one to Numemon, but I think Pandamon is a really cool card. It is a blocker like I mentioned, and then on deletion you may play level 3 Digimon card with the puppet trait from your hand without paying the cost. So when this dies, just play out another level 3 that's a puppet, so you can play out a Chessmon, Pawn Chessmon, Shoemon, any level 3 that's a puppet, Junkmon, right? So this one you do get 4 copies. Next we have another 4 copies of X-Tyrannomon. This one's an interesting card because it has Digicross. So this one, it's a 7 cost 7k, evils for 4 on top of a level 4 that's green or yellow. and then but it evos for 3 on top of a Raremon or a Tyrannomon. Then it has armor purge. So Digicross is you -2 if you have a Tyrannomon and a Raremon, and then you cross with another level 4 that's a puppet. So you're reducing this by technically 4, so you're playing this for 3 if you both run it with a Tyrannomon or a Raremon and a puppet, right? And then inherit is barrier. So barrier is cool. Nothing else aside from the armor purge, so even you don't do any DB minus or any effects, but you playing this for 3 and then going into a 6 after is a good play if you have the Tyrannomon or the Raremons to play. It's interesting, a little underwhelming. If you had a separate effect it would have been great, but playing this out for 3 is still relatively good. Next we have the level 5 from the line, which is Chaperomon. Stuck together. Chaperomon is a 7 cost, 7k, Little Miss Red Riding Hood. It's evo for 3 on top of a level 4 that's yellow. Then on play, when digivolving, when your opponent's Digimon gets -3000 DP for the turn, and then if there are 3 or more Digimon, it further gets -3k. So as long as you have a very big board, you could do -6k, right? If you hit that threshold of 3 Digimon, right? I think it includes herself. So if you have 2, and then let's say you play out an effect, or you digivolve, or you heart drop her for 7, she sees herself, and if there are 2 other Digimon, then you do the -6k, right? And then all turns once per turn, when this Digimon will leave the battle area other than by your effects by deleting one of your tokens or other puppet trait Digimon, it doesn't leave. This is a good way for you to have protection, right? You have the decoy in the Junkmon, you have her inherent, so as long as you get to pop something on your side, it prevents it from leaving. So this one you do get 2 copies. Next we're going into the level 6, which is the boss monster and the cool Liberator Digimon, Sendrolmon. Unfortunately this one doesn't have another alt art, kind of like Safagamon did in the Evo Cup, but it's still a really pretty nice card. And this one's an 11 cost, 11k. It has overclock for the puppet trait. It evos for 3 on top of a level 5, and then it has blocker, so it is a blocker. When Digimoning, you may play 2 familiar tokens, which are yellow Digimons that are 3000 DP, and then on deletion, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -3000 DP for the turn. So you do play out tokens, which is what your main strategy in the deck, right? Where you play out 2 tokens, and then at the end of your turn, overclock happens, you pop your token, and then you give something -3k, and you get to swing, right? Without suspending, so you still keep your blocker, right? She's 11k blocker, -3k something, and then something on their turn. For the turn, my bad. This one I do feel like might be a little underwhelming. Creating tokens in school, in case you need to pop something that doesn't let you play Digimon by effects, maybe you wouldn't be able to do it, but being able to do over clock on stuff is cool, I guess. And next we go into another level 6 from the starter deck, which is the Shin Monzaimon. This one's 12 cost, 12k. It was for 4 on top of a level 5 that's yellow, but if it's a Monzaimon or Numemon, it evos for 3. So it's a good new level 6 evo for Numemon. It has armor purge, and then on play, when digivolving, you by placing 1 level 5 or lower card with a Numemon in its name or the puppet trait from your trash at this bound division card, recover +1. So I was thinking of maybe running this in Numemon. The fact that you evo for 3 on top of a Monzaimon, tuck something else with the Numemon in its name to be able to recover security is really good. The fact that it was for 4 is not great, but you have training to reduce that, right? So this one you do get the 4 copies, and then if you were to die in security, armor purge, you get to do it all over again. right? Because there's no requirement on top of the it's not once per turn, right? Or there's no certain criteria you need to meet. You just armor purge, cool, dice, evil again for 4 or 3, recover again, right? By tucking something on underneath. So this one you do get 4 copies. Next, we're going into the Tamers. We are running, well, you do get 4 copies of the Arisa Kinosaki Tamer. She's a 4-cost Tamer with a Liberator trait. And then I need to read the light novel, the webtoon. The coworker keeps telling me to read it. And then at the start of your turn, if you have 2 or less memory, set it to 3, so it's a memory setter. And your turn, when effects play any of your tokens or puppet trait Digimon, by suspending this Tamer, one of those Digimon gains Rush. And then security, you play this card. So the fact that you get to give something Rush by just suspending the Tamer is great. And then any tokens that you make, and you have enough Arisas, you could play this, give it Rush, and try to go for game. Same thing if you have an effect that plays out anything that's a puppet, right? So I think this one would be like a 4 of in a deck that runs puppets, just because you play many things by effects. As long as they're tokens or puppetry Digimon, you get to tap this to give it Rush. So this one you do get 4. And then next you have 4 copies of Noble Family Arts. I love the art on this card. It looks so funny. Like Sandromon and all the little mouse puppet thingies. Little homie giving the finger. Thumbs up. But this one's a 5-cost option. And then main, when your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 BP for the turn. And then there are 3 or more Digimon. It doesn't specify on your side or their side, as long as there are 3 or more. It further gets 6,000 BP. So you could do minus 12k as long as there's at least 3 Digimon on the field. And then security effect is you activate the main effect. So this one's a good option. Most games, a lot of the decks tend to go wide. I think by most of the time either you have 2, they have 1, they have 2, you have 1. So you're always going to meet that 3 threshold, unless they only have a single stack and then you only have 1. So then you probably won't see this, but you're only doing minus 6k. But I think it's a really interesting card. And then next we have the reprint of the yellow memory boost. Don't like that they're not foil, but pretty good replacement for the generic yellow memory boost. So it's a 3-cost, real top 4, add a yellow Digimon, place the rest at the bottom of the deck, delay, trash to gain 2 memory. So really good card. Gaining memory is always good. And then now we are going into the reprints of the trainings. Next, first off, we have the new, I don't know if I'm biased, but I do like the yellow starter deck reprints better than the green one. So this is the offense training, right? You get the Shoemon and the Teramon. Next, we have the mental training. I have a friend that was trading for these. It's really nice for all you Mirage players. It's a really cool card. Next, we have the physical training with the Junkmon. So it goes really on theme with the deck if you have the 4 physical trainings, right? Next, we have the agility training, which is the Shoemon and the Teramon. Next is defense training. I have a friend that's looking for as many black defense trainings as he can from this specific starter deck. They look really good. Next and last would be the wisdom training. The goblin one being very, very, very traumatized and confused from all the learning, just like me. And that's it for all the cards in the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.